Historically, major leaps in technology happened in isolation. A new communication standard here, a medical breakthrough there. Society usually had a buffer, time to draft regulations and adapt to a new reality before the next leap arrived. But on May 12, 2026, six distinct, massive technological announcements, from satellite infrastructure to brain-computer interfaces, collided into a single 24-hour window. While these tools are already being downloaded and deployed, the organizations meant to oversee them are just starting to react. The EU is only now drafting safety guidelines for real-time AI, and the FCC is just beginning to review Starlink's new spectrum usage. We have entered a period where the technology is live, but the oversight is still being written. To understand how this happened, we have to look at these events as a three-stage spatial zoom. We start at the planet's orbit and move down until we reach the individual human brain. This reveals a world where the distinction between our physical environment and our digital tools is becoming increasingly difficult to find. The shift began in low Earth orbit. Starlink activated the final phase of its direct-to-cell project, utilizing V2 satellites with antennas large enough to communicate with the phone already in your pocket. This system beams LTE and 5G signals directly from space to standard smartphones. It effectively bypasses traditional cell towers, allowing for high-speed connection in areas that have been historically unreachable. While Starlink connected the surface, IBM and NASA focused on the atmosphere. They released Prithvi Climate 2.0, the largest open-source AI model ever trained on climate and satellite data. This model represents 10 petabytes of NASA data, once requiring a dedicated data center to process. Today, that predictive power runs on a standard laptop. In tests, it predicted hurricane paths 72 hours in advance with under 50 kilometers of error, outperforming traditional supercomputers. At this macro level, the entire planet's weather patterns and communication networks have been rendered accessible and predictable to anyone with a computer. Zooming down to the cultural level, Nintendo ended years of speculation by confirming that the Switch 2 will be fully backward compatible with the current Switch library. This marks a departure from the industry's history of hardware generations that forced users to abandon their software libraries every few years. By preserving a 140 million user ecosystem, Nintendo is treating digital software as a permanent investment. But maintaining these massive digital realities has altered the economy of play. Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two, confirmed that Grand Theft Auto 6 will launch with a standard price of $80. The price increase is driven by production costs that have risen 40% in just 5 years. GTA 6 budget now exceeds $1 billion, a figure that makes it the most expensive piece of media ever produced. Our digital cultures now operate with the budgets of Hollywood blockbusters and require the long-term preservation once reserved for libraries and museums. Finally, we zoom into the human body. OpenAI's GPT 5.5 Omni removes the keyboard entirely, using live sight and sound. By using cross-modal attention, the AI processes visual and auditory data simultaneously in a single architecture. This allows the model to react to the physical world with a latency as low as 0.3 seconds, roughly the speed of human conversation. While OpenAI changed how we talk to machines, Neuralink changed how we move them. Their second human patient, Alex Conley, successfully used a brain implant to control physical hardware without using his motor system. The device uses 1,024 electrodes to read the cortex's neural signals, wirelessly transmitting thoughts to external devices with 95% accuracy. This allowed Conley to move a robotic arm across 6 axes, picking up a glass of water using only his intent. At this micro level, the physical distance between a human thought and its mechanical execution has narrowed to almost nothing. The events of May 12th show that the delay between a human idea and its realization, whether that's a global data query or a physical movement, is nearing zero. We have built a world where AI can predict the atmosphere and satellites can reach any phone, yet our ethical and legal frameworks are only just beginning to grapple with what that means for privacy and autonomy. The interface between our biology and our technology has moved from the external tool into the internal mind. The question is no longer what these technologies are capable of doing, but whether we are prepared for a world